All right, let's break down some of these volume sources and real life scenarios of what you might see or what you might encounter as a leader or a brand partner who's building an organization. Let's take you right here who's got 3000 PV. All right, you're doing well. 3000 PV is good. Now I want to challenge you. What percent are you making at 3000 PV? You are making 35%. You also have three brand partners that you've signed on. Your personally sponsored level ones. One of them's bringing in 2000 in volume, one of them's bringing in 6000 in volume, and one of them's bringing in 1000 in volume. Now this can entail their personal volume or this can entail their downline volume. I know it says DV, so we'll say qualifying volume, but this can be a mixture of their PV and any volume generated from their downline. 3000, 2000, 6000, 1000. Remember, we mentioned your highest volume sources in one of the previous videos. If you just look at it, you can visually see that it is yourself and it is your bottom middle brand partner bringing in 6,000 of personal volume or downline volume and your own personal volume as well. So your two highest volume sources are bringing you to about 9,000 downline volume total. So we had talked about outside volume rule and maximum volume rule. So let's touch on these here for a second. We'll see this text on the left, volume sources, your two strongest sources of volume, including DV from any sponsored leg, required only for Director Plus when you start talking about that outside volume rule. Let's add it up. 3,000 plus 2,000 plus 6,000 plus 1,000. That equals 12,000, right? This is a beautiful example because it's like right at the threshold from where you would be right at Director. You have 9,000 here. You need a minimum 1,200 of outside volume from your two highest sources. That's what the rule means. So you have 2,000 from here, another 1,000 from here. That's over the 1,200 threshold. Let's erase this person. Let's say the 1,000 wasn't there. You would still be good. You may not be at the total 12,000 for Director, but you would have enough outside volume to where if you had another 6, 9, 10, 11, you'd need another 1,000 to hit Director because this is right at that threshold. But you have enough outside volume to where you could hit Director so long as you bring in some more. Whether this person brought in more or you brought in more, you would get more. Now, this person wouldn't be able to have the extra 1,000. Why not? Because your maximum volume is only 6,000 from a single source, unless you balance them out from somebody else. So if you are only at 3,000, you will only have a maximum of 6,000. So if this person wasn't here and this person had 7,000, you would still only get 6,000. Now we will go into a more specific example, but at this current example, this person would be a director. Let's look at a realistic example of why they wouldn't. If we look now, you are only bringing in 2,500. Now that's still good, still at that threshold for bringing in, you would earn 35% on this PV. But let's say you brought in a superstar and they just blew up their own organization and started blowing up yours. These two still have 2,000 and 1,000. Well, they have 16,000, but the maximum volume rule says that you can only take 6,000 from that highest leg. You're leaving 8,000 on the table. Oh no, you're leaving 10,000 on the table. So 2,500 plus 1,000 is 3,500 plus 2,000 is 5,500, but you can only take 6,000 from this source. That only leaves you with 11,500. You are not hitting this director rank right here. You're not meeting the maximum volume rule threshold to make director. So what do you got to do? Well, this person, let's say thank you to them because they're significantly increasing your downline volume, but you're capped out. So that volume either needs to come from this person or yourself. You have enough outside volume here with the 3,000. These two are still producing enough of that outside volume, that 1,200 threshold to meet director, but you need 500 to come either from you, from 2,000 DV, or from 1,000 DV. And that is a more realistic example of how the maximum volume rule can hold you back in hitting a rank.